Hello everyone, and welcome to a new video. In this video, I'm gonna be doing something interesting. I'm gonna be breaking down three separate games and three separate different things that I was in, and I was going to break them down and give you I'm gonna give you the breakdown of what's happening and how things have gone my way, and what should be and should be not done in this scenario. I'm gonna call it the do's and don'ts of tactics. Name's a work in progress, but that's not the point. The point is that I'm going to show you three games, and I'm break it down and ask you some questions, and you're going to try to pick the right answer, and we'll play the clip and see what happens. All right, then. With all that said, let's get down to it. This first clip is up from Mira on Oregon. I am now sitting in the dining hall, and the objective is in the dining hall. So now the enemy has just breached this location, and I am not in the most favorable of positions. My buddy was just killed, and now I need to figure out what to do next. So this begs the question: do I run to a new position? Do I crouch and hold the position, watching the door? Or 3, do I stay low and crawl, keeping an eye on the entrance as best as I can, and get to a better position?
Protect the biohazard container. Stop hostiles from securing the container.
With all this in mind, in this specific scenario, staying low and actually crawling and keeping an eye on an entrance is the best option. Now, while crouching is one of the most silent of movements for most operators, I am a 3-speed operator, so even getting up makes a lot of noise, and would tip the guy off that I was actually there. Staying pro and staying low might actually have saved my butt in that case, because while crouching is definitely good, staying low, most people don't generally tend to do that, because staying prone makes the slowest movement, and you still make some more noise than if you would if you were crouched. But being a 3-speed operator, I don't have that much speed anyway to run into that new position. Plus, it would also make a lot of noise when I was moving into that position. So staying low and holding it out and waiting for the guy is the best scenario. This way, I have the element of surprise on him, thinking that when he ran in, would have the element of surprise on him. But no, his gun would be aimed more or less head to chest level, whereas I am at more or less feet level. Plus, it would technically take him a lot more time for him to stop running to aim down his sights, which is why he never got a single shot off, which is why he didn't get a shot that hit me or anything, and how I was able to stand up and still be able to aim at him and kill him, getting that specific headshot, which is, again, very nice. Moving on to the second part of this clip, I have now just moved into a much favorable position than the one that I was in previously. I'm still prone and still on the ground and still kind of watching the entrance initially. But now I have a new area to worry about. Thermite has just breached in from small tower and is now sitting kind of over there. So here's the big question: do I stay low and wait for him to enter the objective room? Do I attempt to try and move around to a new position to see if I can get a better position on him, or do I just stand up and peek him and try to fire at him as best as I can?
4, last stop standing.
So for this scenario, this position is extremely favored towards me for two specific reasons. Number one, he does not know where I am because, again, I've been prone this whole time and I haven't made that much noise when moving to that new position. He was also on the other side of the wall, so the explosion kind of masked my presence as I moved into that new position. The team doesn't seem to be actually, communicating effectively in this scenario, which gives me a little bit of an edge. But the second thing is that this position has plenty of cover for me to use if I absolutely 100% need it. So in this scenario, this is the best possible position that I can more or less be having. Because again, my clothes are darker, and since the wall behind me is reinforced, actually, I would blend in a little bit better. So standing up and looking towards him while my buddy kind of pushes from another angle or something is the best scenario because I was actually able to kill not one, but both of them in the process. Which again, just goes to show you how effective this strategy is.
Biohazard container. Securing the container. Hostile activity. Neutralize the threat.
Next up to game 2. I am Hibana on Yacht, and I am stuck on the outside of the objective. I've been stuck outside, but now I've recently just moved inside. Now, in this scenario, I am above the objective with both hatches destroyed. I have just killed Bandit, who attempted to kill me with his nitro cell, but again, I took him out before he was able to do anything. Right now, I have a buddy in there who's trying to cap the objective, but an enemy currently is contesting it. So, what do? Do I, A, drop down and rush the guy, B, stay put and play the hatch game, or C, go around and attempt to flank the guy?
Secure the container. Op 4 last standing.
So in this scenario, playing the hatch game is better for two reasons. One, the enemy pays less attention to when someone's actually on there because they'll pay less attention to me because I am raised up and I can kind of see over most of the thing, which is brings me to my second thing where I have number 2. I have control over most of the objective. Where the hatches are placed, I can see pretty much the entirety of that room, so long as I move to that position. And again, while this person here did play it well, I wouldn't have known that they were there had they not fired their gun. And again, I also wouldn't have been able to shoot him from a position that was lower than anywhere else. And again, getting those very specific pixel peak angles is best from a little bit more of a higher position because the person has to be closer to the object, or the object has to be over them in some way. So in this case, I was actually able to see his scalp before he was able to even take a look and see where I was, which again, in this case is just best to play the hatch game and wait for the guy to make a bad move, which he did.
Secure the container. Op 4 last standing.
So in this scenario, I am above the objective still, but I hear the guy entering the objective. He has just walked through the door and is now contesting the objective. So I only have a few seconds to really decide, as it's the last few seconds of the match. Now, I know that the guy in the objective now is panicking because he needs to contest it in order to try and win. I'm above, so he doesn't really know where I am. So here's the question. Do I, A, jump down in the hatch and rush the guy? B, do I stay where I am and hold my position, trying to see if I can get him in a weird angle? Or 3, do I try to go around and attempt to flank him?
Resume securing the container once the threat is neutralized. Op 4 eliminated. Friendly mission successful.
So then, in this scenario, dropping the hatches and rushing the person was the most convenient, but that doesn't mean that it was the most correct decision. In this scenario, it actually wins because there's a few things that I have going for me. The few things that I have going for me is that it's the last few seconds of the game, and I already have a buddy who's on the objective, which means that he's going to back me up, more or less. The second thing is that if I die, the buddy still has a chance to kill the guy, and if I don't die, well, then that's a plus. I didn't die in this scenario because, number one, the guy was also very flustered because it was him when you're the last alive, you have a lot of pressure to try and win the game. But for this scenario, I had a lot of things going for me. I had the element of surprise as well, and I had a whole bunch of other things that could easily have gone wrong. But again, the guy was panicking, and when you panic, you tend to make mistakes. So for this specific scenario, I was able to do it because the guy, it's best to push when you're attacking rather than just sit there and kind of wait it out. Unless you're already in objective, in which case sitting and waiting it out might actually be the best for you. Now moving on to the final game and tips that I have for you for this video. This is Ella on Canal, and I'm stuck on the top floor in server room. I was just flashed, and I've been sort of dazed by it. I hear that one of the attackers has just gotten onto their drone. Now, I'm not sure how many people are out there, but I do know that I'm Ella, and I have my shotgun with me. So, what do? 1. Sit tight and wait for the push. 2. Screw it, jump and roll out, rush. Or 3. Run away and try to flank them as best as I can.
If you remain in this zone, you will be detected. Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
Now, this is a case of where sheer luck comes into play. Rushing them was pretty good because, number one, I was a 3-speed operator, which means that I had the best chance of doing it with just sort of blitzkrieg style of just run through and try to do everything as fast as possible. Again, I'm not sure how many enemies there specifically was, but I knew the map. But this canal I know very well, and I know that a lot of people tend to sit on that window area looking into the server room trying to get a good hit on the guy. Again, my position wasn't as good as it could have been because because people would normally look that direction anyway because that looks deeper and further into the room, and that's where most defenders would more or less be hiding. Now, running around and trying to flank them, at least from that position, would be very difficult because, again, I have no idea where they are, and if I did know where they are, I probably still wouldn't try to flank them because doing a direct assault can sometimes be the best thing of winning. Rushing is very volatile in certain scenarios, especially for ones like this. I just got sheerly lucky because the guy I managed to do it was caught completely off guard by me jumping and running out the window. He had a very little time to react, which is why he only got a couple shots hit on me. But since I have a shotgun, which does a lot more damage because of like the spread, like from pellets and whatever, I was actually able to, not really needing as much aim, to jump out and actually hit him with the shotgun. Again, since the shotgun didn't really need to aim that much anyway, just needed to get the crosshairs generally in his direction, and therefore I was able to shoot him. And since I knew that his buddy was on the drone, he wasn't going to back him up, he was trying to drone out the objective and get more intelligence. But that's where he was wrong, because I actually heard him do that. You do make noise when you pull out the phone to go on your drones, or pull out your phone for anything. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this first episode of Tactics with Game Penguin, I guess. Did these tips help you? Is this good? Is this bad? I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, and this probably isn't going to be as popular as I think it is. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode, or this video. See you in stream. And peace off.